Welcome to the Real Estate Espresso Podcast, your morning shot of what's new in the world of real estate investing. I'm your host, Victor Menashe. On today's show, we're running what seems like an almost annual episode. The pain in retail real estate continues with little signs of slowing down. According to a new report in Business Insider this week, retailers closed a record 102 million square feet of retail space in 2017, then smashed that record in 2018 by closing another 155 million square feet. These estimates are according to the folks at CoStar. We can expect similar numbers in 2019, with more than 9,000 stores expected to close this year. Some of these announcements are from earlier this year, but several are as recent as this past week. Back in February, Payless Shoes abruptly announced it was closing all 2,500 of its stores in what might be the largest inventory liquidation in retail history. Gymboree filed for bankruptcy protection for the second time this year. The first time was back in 2017 when they closed about 400 stores, and this time they're closing all 805 outlets, never to return. The company's remaining 140 stores under the Janie and Jack brand are for sale. Dress Barn is closing 650 stores after 50 years in business. Charlotte Russe has closed all 520 stores. Discount chain Fred's announced it was also closing 520 stores. Dollar Tree plans to convert 200 Family Dollar stores into Dollar Tree and close another 390 Family Dollar stores. Shopko announced earlier this year it was closing 371 stores. Charming Charlie, which sells women's accessories, closed all 261 stores in August of this year. Women's clothing store Chico's announced it would close 100 Chico stores, 90 White House Black Market stores, and 60 Soma stores over the next 3 years. The Gap announced the closure of 230 stores and announced intention to sell its Old Navy stores. Women's clothing retailer Avenue is closing all 222 of its stores. Walgreens continues to rationalize after its acquisition of Rite Aid. Following the acquisition, they announced the closure of about 600 pharmacies, and this year they announced the closure of 200 Walgreens locations. Computer gaming is increasingly happening online, so it's no surprise that a bricks-and-mortar computer gaming store would be struggling. Most games can be downloaded these days, and GameStop announced the closure of somewhere between 180 to 200 stores globally back in September. Forever 21 is closing 350 stores globally. About 178 of those locations are in the U.S. Sears Department Stores has been the walking dead for years now. They announced the closure of another 175 stores in a series of announcements that have trickled out over the last 3 months. Lifeway is closing 170 stores. Kmart is closing 160 stores. Kitchen appliance manufacturer Hamilton Beach owns a physical retail channel that competes with the other department stores for its products. In October, they announced the closure of all 160 of its kitchen collection stores. Performance Bicycle filed for bankruptcy protection this month and is closing all 102 stores. Bike shops around North America have been struggling. Avid cyclists would go to a local performance bike shop, try out a bike, get the feel for exactly what they want, and then find the same product or the brand name components to assemble a bike online for less and order it online. This story is playing out over and over and over again in many different industries. Olympia Sports was purchased earlier this year by Jackrabbit, and following the acquisition, they announced the closure of 76 stores. Destination Maternity is closing 258 stores. CVS Health is closing 68 stores. Bed Bath & Beyond is closing 60 stores. Pier 1 Imports is closing 57 stores. Party City is closing 55. Agachi is closing 54 stores. Victoria's Secret is closing 53 stores. Office Depot and Office Max are closing 50 stores. The Children's Place is closing 45 stores and at the same time opening 25 new stores over the next 2 years. Abercrombie & Fitch is closing 40 stores this year. JCPenney is closing 27 stores. Women's retailer Christopher & Banks is closing 40 stores over the next 2 years. Lowe's is closing 20 stores, and even retail giant Walmart is closing 17 stores. Macy's is closing 9 stores. Now, there's actually more retail closures I could tell you about. I don't know about you, but after listening to this partial list, I'm pretty numb already. If you're the owner of a retail shopping mall and you just had one of your anchor stores with 100,000 square feet closed down, do the math. Figure out what that's going to do to the overall mall business. I've seen shopping malls in Florida that were 70% vacant, and not long after they were 100% vacant. There's no way the remaining 30% of stores can survive in that environment. It's not an uplifting experience for the customer. So if you have a mall now that's at 15 or 20% vacancy, there's a small window for the mall owner to try and turn things around. But in truth, getting those spots filled is going to be difficult. Significant concessions are going to be needed to attract new tenants quickly. And as soon as that happens, your existing tenants start to demand concessions as well. I firmly believe that the strategy for dying shopping malls is the redevelopment of those large spaces into mixed-use planned communities that have a combination of residential, parks, amenities, and a modest amount of neighborhood retail, including groceries and food and beverage. These distressed assets are going to be increasingly appearing on the market in the coming year and years to come. Be very careful about any investment in retail. Have an awesome rest of your day. Go make some great things happen. I'll talk to you again tomorrow.